Coming up on today's episode of The Traction Show.
So it's actually the other way around. People do an MBA to get a fresh start. The MBA doesn't give you that break into product management.
Okay.
Doing an MBA doesn't make you a great PM.
Awesome. So Arvind, I think you're one of the very few product managers that I'm interviewing on this podcast. And I'll tell you the reason. So product manager as a role is very fancy, very touted, especially on Twitter. Everyone's talking about it. People glam it up and doll it up and say, you know, this is a strategy role. You're the guy who's leading a team of UX guys, engineers and whatnot. And you're the guys, you know, on the whiteboard who has 5-6 folks. And you're like the commander in chief. And, you know, it's as good as a mini CEO, they say. Why so sexy?
So yeah, it is sexy for sure. The role is definitely sexy. And I think that's mostly because it's got this manager appended to it. but product managers don't start off as managers, at least not in the quintessential way of managers of people, right? So I think the fact that you have this second part attached to the name makes it sound very sexy, and people want to do it and they think, oh, let me become a manager straight off.
Yeah.
But
do you manage people or do you manage just the product?
I do now.
Okay.
But when I initially started as a PM, I didn't manage people.
Okay, so
I was finding it hard to manage myself.
Myth number one, you don't manage people.
Not when you
early on.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Interesting.
The reason why product management seems to be this very coveted role is because it's not clearly defined.
Oh shit, okay.
Okay, so
it's very mythical, mystical.
It's product.
Open to interpretation.
It's management. Oh, I can manage. Product managers
and I like
product. Product managers have to go talk to people. I can talk to people. Product managers have to build. I can build products.
Are you guys the mini CEOs?
No, we aren't the mini CEOs.
You guys don't do
CEOs
stuff?
come with authority. Product managers don't come with authority. So it's a role that has its own learning curve like any other. The reason why it's sexy is because it seems appealing to many people. Just like how tomorrow I can say, hey, I want to be an actor. I would never say I want to be a data science engineer because I know that that's got a lot of objective things for me to learn, and there's a huge path for me ahead. It's a role that appeals to everybody because of the generality associated with it. But again, how many people get really good at it depends on experience, exposure, and all the other things that comes with any generalist trait.
For an early PM or, you know, early guy who's probably in college, graduating right now, or has graduated, started his career wheresoever, but wants to shift to this role that always seems to be trending on Twitter, product management. How to get into one? How not to get into one? And what are the mistakes these guys make when they get into one?
To answer how to get into one, I think it makes most sense to start in your current role or in your current company. I think product management requires some amount of experience. Some amount of experience being in a team, whether it's as an engineer or as a designer or even the GTM side of it. So most product managers, they come from two types of personas. One is the builder persona, basically engineers, designers who go on to become product managers. The other is the seller persona. So customer success managers, pre-sales folks. All of these guys also end up becoming product managers. Some of them do eventually. The first persona becomes a PM because they know how to build products and they know how to build products that appeal to people. The second persona end up becoming PMs because they understand the domain, they understand what the needs of the customers are, and they're able to build products according to that.
Are you suggesting that a customer service guy who's like, okay, hi sir, I'm sorry your order is delayed, can evolve to be a product manager? Or is this more of a B2B thing than a consumer thing, and consumer product managers work differently than B2B?
See, the fundamental requirement to be a product manager is to understand the need of the customer. Right?
Okay.
If you can understand why you are building something and if you can communicate that well, there are chances that you can become a good PM. In fact, most folks, and you asked me about mistakes that people make, most folks actually don't get this fundamental point. Can you just move right a bit? Actually, can you just move left?
What happened? Why are you making me do this?
That's the basic question that you have to ask.
Why are you making me do this?
Why am I making you do this? So behind you, there's a light, okay? Yeah. And that light's hitting my eye.
Okay.
But I, being a consumer, I'm not able to tell you explicitly that that's my problem, okay? So what am I doing instead? I'm just picking the solution that I have for me.
If it was a little pinkish or reddish or orangish or darker, I would like it more.
Now you're getting into the solutioning part, right? But I'm saying the fundamental problem here is that there's a light behind you that's affecting my eye. But I didn't tell you that. I'm instead trying to get you to move right and move left. Okay? Lot of product managers who are beginning their careers, they do this. They fall into this trap. They get directly into the solution. They fall in love with the solution. And then they'll get engineers to also collaborate with them. Now engineers will come and say, what's the perfect angle for Abhinav to be looking at? What's the perfect angle for Arvind to be looking at? Everybody forgot to ask why we're doing this. If you realized that the core problem was that the light was hitting my eye, we could have just turned the light off. Or we could have dimmed it down. Right? I didn't need to necessarily use you to go left and right.
Are you saying that everyone has to be aligned to the why, and let's say, turning off the light was the answer and not moving Abhinav was the answer? Who takes that decision?
That's exactly what the PM is supposed to do. That's what I'm saying. So the engineers will engineer the hell out of a solution, right? You tell them this is what I want, they will do a great job doing it. You'll get the designers to create multiple markups, multiple experiences to give you the solution. But who decides what the core problem is, or who figures out what the core problem is? Is it even a problem worth solving? Among the list of problems we have, is this like the top 2 or the top 3 that needs to be looked at right now? Is the benefit that we are getting out of solving this problem worth it? That's the product manager's domain. The next mistake is this obsession with perfecting a solution.
Okay.
Right? I already said you need to start with the why, the solutioning others can help you with. But not only do some PMs who are just starting up their career, not only do they just start with the solution, they also intend to perfect the solution. Okay. These are people who, if you task them with, say, baking a cake, they will think about solving world hunger problems. And because they have heard that, that's what PMs are supposed to do, and you're not supposed to go that deep. Why I say you shouldn't focus on perfecting the solution is because you're better off giving shorter, faster, smaller iterations, and you're better off getting feedback early on, in contrast to building a perfect solution that doesn't work for anybody. This whole example I gave you about you moving left, moving right, getting engineers to compute your angles, all of that doesn't help, right? So the idea is, how do you increase your probabilities of succeeding in the role? Because getting in is easy. In any generalist role, like acting, like product management, getting in is not hard. It's about how do you succeed in that role? How do you go the distance? And if you want to go the distance, your probabilities of succeeding increases if you come with experience, if you come with this exposure of having worked with different people.
Got it. Okay, cool. I want to go back to my question about building the next Swiggy, next Zomato versus building the next Freshdesk or Hiver.
Okay.
Is there any fundamental difference there? Can a customer support rep or a social media manager who manages their Instagram, because they also deal with consumers at the end, do you think they can be product manager, or B2C works differently?
So is your question about how B2B and B2C differ in product management?
Yeah, do they differ?
Of course they do.
Why?
Okay, so I like that you're asking why questions. So B2C requires a little bit more science than art, meaning a lot of experiments. B2B requires a little bit more art than science, meaning more intuition. So I'll give you this example, right? Someone I knew, they worked in this price comparison B2C product that basically says, okay, if you want to buy this iPhone, these are the 4 websites in India that are featuring this iPhone, and these are the various costs at which you can buy this product. And now this person was trying to figure out whether they should introduce a direct buy feature in their comparison website or not.
Got it.
So instead of leading the user to an Amazon, to a Flipkart, to a Snapdeal, can we just directly put the buy option in this product itself? They put the buy now button, but the buy now button was a dummy.
Oh, interesting.
It didn't do anything.
Yeah, but people were clicking it.
People were clicking it. And then based on the percentage of people who clicked the button, they figured out whether they should actually build a functionality behind this button or not. So that's how extremely experimental B2C can get. Of course, I'm giving a very extreme example, not to take away from B2C. It's quite awesome. But this is to deliver the point that B2C can be quite experimental nature, leans more in that direction. B2B can be more art or intuition driven and leans more in this direction.
Right. Fair enough. Cool. Arvind, as we come to a close of this quick episode, tell me one thing, that a popular narrative that you see going around on Twitter, LinkedIn, wheresoever, around product management or SaaS product management, which you fundamentally disagree with. like mini CEOs, I understand you disagree with, but something that's a very popular knowledge, probably on Amazon bookstores and wherever, but you think it's bogus information, it's superficial, it's not deep enough, it's not practical, it's not experiential. What is it? Bust one major myth about product management.
That PMs require MBAs.
Okay. Interesting. You're not an MBA?
I actually broke into product leadership first, and then I got into my MBA. So
why do people think that way, and why do you not think that way?
Again, so it depends on how you're starting. Most people who are already engineers, most people who are already designers or pre-sales folks or customer success folks, they find it hard to break into product management in their existing company because you don't get an opportunity to experiment in a role that is so different from yours, right? So they look at an MBA just like other folks look at an MBA as an opening, as an opportunity to reset.
Right.
That doesn't, so it's actually the other way around. People do an MBA to get a fresh start. The MBA doesn't give you that break into product management.
Okay.
Doing an MBA doesn't make you a great PM.
Okay.
It just gives you that opening to experiment with the PM role. 1
or 2 years to recalibrate.
To recalibrate and then try doing these campus interviews and then try getting into.
This is like a break from life.
So it allows you to reset, right? It basically allows you to reset. But I don't think you need to have an MBA to be good at a PM job.
All right. Fantastic. This was a fun episode. Fun chatting.
Absolutely.
Cheers.